everybody. Welcome to Meyer Studio Sketch Club. Got a little bit different layout tonight. Didn't quite go so well Sunday night, but we got it fixed up. Our lovely model you've been seeing, Miss Ellie. I've had the good fortune of having her in the studio and helping out rearrange and set some programs up that we're going to be working on for our next online school. So we're going to be doing that this summer, and hopefully by the end of the summer there'll be new courses there. Speaking of end of the summer, beginning in August, our class format will change from a 1-month format to a 3-month format, and we're going to go take our time and get into composition, get into color, study those things before we start our painting, and then give us several weeks, if not a month, to do the painting so we have a chance to go back and refine. Chase these things down a little bit rather than showing up on the field and then, oh, time to shower. So that's the idea, so stay tuned for all of that. And tonight we're going to sketch, and rather than get too much, I'm going to use Ellie as the basis here, but I'd like to show you guys how you can build up the surface, right, to make it appear more ancient and more interesting. So let's get going. All right, Susan, good evening. Good evening. Cindy says, shut up and sketch. I'm with her. So let's get going. Okay, so here we go. So we've got this here, and then if we switch around here, that's what you'll see right there at the top. Let's see, we have fancy graphics up here. Oh, look at that, wow. How about that? Meyer Studio, let's grow better together. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my Vine charcoal. And what I started here is if we just go straight up and down, we want to go just slightly over. And if we go straight across, so what we're going to do is we're going to build an egg based on that. Okay? But although it sounds like building an egg doesn't sound very exciting, I hope this is one of the most beautiful drawings you've seen today. And with this very simple form, I'm going to show you how we start to build and make our portraits and everything so much richer. Okay, but it starts with our shapes. So the first thing I want you to do, I know I've got some ghost images here, but just pretend I don't. So based on our light marks here, let's just go ahead and get our size and placement lightly on that, and I can feel like I'm going around the egg and going up and over, up, over and around. And if our light's coming down, what does that mean for our shadow? It means it's right. Be there, and let's see, she's turned just a little bit like that, and her neck to her torso is going to go like that. So what we've got to do there we go. So chin's over there. So notice I'm kind of going over a couple of times, and I'm not trying to be very fine with what I'm doing here. not that I'm not being fine, but I'm not, right? It's looser. It's looser. This is what's going to help us build this up into this beautiful patina. Okay? So I hope you're following along. Go ahead. And again, let's make this shadow a little bit stronger now. Let's bring it up under the chin so we know. Let's see, is this far enough? That's gonna probably come up even higher. Now, this right here is kind of as far out as it goes and it starts turning down. So what that means is this is all going to be air. So what if I just wiped this bottom half out, but not that top half? Bottom half, but not the top half. How's that looking, everybody? Good evening, Miss Janny. How are you doing? How are you doing? So you can just see a close-up here. Well, sometimes you gotta press down a little bit harder. All right, and don't get it too thin. Make sure it's thick enough. All right, so it can feel solid. And then again, just on the bottom half. Just on the bottom half. Okay, now let's do the whole thing one more time. So what is this, 3, 4 times? But can you see this patina that's building up here? This takes a little time. Okay, I'm with my vine charcoal. Okay, one more time, let's do this. Let's go ahead and soften this entire inside edge. Not all the way, just the edge. And then down here, let's make sure we soften, show that all of that's going through air. Okay, is this starting to take on a little bit? A little bit? Hey, Miss Claudia made it too. Cool. Cool, people are showing up. So tonight, what I'm doing is I'm just showing you how to get a really rich drawing. So we've been going over this, and this is just kind of an egg, loosely based on the reference of Ellie. Okay, so that's 5 or 6 times I've done it now. Now the inside edge up at the top. Okay, so we're going to set the charcoal, the vine charcoal down for just a second. And we're going to get our, what are we getting there? The eraser. The eraser. Katie made it. Good evening, Katie. Good evening. Good to see so many of you guys, morning and evening. So now we want to think about a hard edge. And rather than trying to find this line, what I'm going to do is there's a curve I want here. And I can actually start way out here and kind of go in searching for that curve. So I'm just pushing in. Notice, but any gray I'm taking off as I go through. What am I doing? Well, I'm coming in to get a harder edge up here. And even down here, it's gonna So, see how this making a hard edge change this? Let's come back up here. All right, so I'm not in a hurry. I'm taking my time. This takes a little time to do. And notice I'm drawing from my shoulder. They're not moving. Those aren't moving. This is moving. See that? So in that way, I can be precise without having to make any one necessarily precise mark, as you might think of it. Can you see the reference? If you see the reference, you're going to miss the lesson. You got to be looking at the process. The process. Come on, guys, I do this, and then you go, oh, how do you do that? How do you do that? I'm showing you how you do this. Now what are we going to do? What if I enhance that edge even more? Okay, then let's call this our shadow. So now I've gone to my compressed charcoal, which is darker. Go ahead and even that out on the inside. I'm not going to the edge. I'm not going past that edge. Okay, I don't care if you don't do portraits. I don't care what you do. You still need to know how to build an image up. You still need to know how to build an image up. All right, so is this all the side plane going back? All right, so this is shadow. This is the front of the plane thing. Then the corner is going to be right around here. So that means all of this will be in shadow, or through air, excuse me. Right, what I want you guys to see is I'm not touching this once. I want you guys to get out of your head that touch it once idea. Right? That's not where rich images come from. It's not where beautiful drawings come from. Right? They can. A master can touch it once and be done. Right? Because everything they do. But even a master, if we're able to see some of the history of the work, right? Build up the process, literally the generations of charcoal that are built up to form this image. Okay, look, we spent almost 15 minutes doing just this. Right? And if you're doing it right, it's like taking your fingers roller skating. It's just so fun. Always going around, always going around, always going around. Okay, you guys with me? You guys with me? I know this seems elementary. I know this seems elementary, but stay with me for a minute, okay? See the result, and then I hope you'll practice this. This is air. You see what that did to, right? It changed your focus, it softened that, and now we're right down here. All right, so let's come back. Let's pull our light out just to clean it up. Again, try to avoid hard edges. Even like with this, we can kind of circle out less and less and less. More and more pressure, less and less pressure. Less pressure, less pressure, less pressure with the eraser. Okay. Charcoal ground into the paper a little bit. All right, let's do one more with that charcoal. See if we can get a nice even tone. Let's let this build. And right around here, I'll try not to go to any edge and keep my outside transition soft except right here. And then we're going to start letting go, letting go, letting go, so it's not so hard, not so hard. See if we can flatten this tone out. So now we're connecting this to the neck through a flat shadow. Okay, so if you're looking at the reference, you're not going to get this. And that's, I didn't mean to sound abrupt or anything. This transitions are what it's about. And as long as you're trying to measure things and place things and copy things, until you start literally working with the materials without something else in mind, but only with the materials in mind and how rich we can make our images. Because again, it doesn't matter what image, you know, what matters is how the image is made, what kind of marks are used. All right, I hope some of you guys are starting to get on to that. And so tonight is about beyond image. right? It's about simply what makes a good image. Get the ear somewhere in here. Right? Now, so before there's any detail on it all, can you feel the structure of this thing? Does this thing feel structurally sound to you? Does it feel solid? Like you couldn't just fly through it like a ghost? But you'd hit a big piece of meat, wouldn't you? That thing's solid. But until you take the time to do it on simple forms, how are you going to do it on a portrait? Yeah. That's the point. Thank you, Janny. Thank you. That's actually so freeing. Just feeling the material and how it works. Right? And also, look at how beautiful it can get. Look, guys, we still got 9 minutes. What are we going to do with our time? What are we going to do with our time? What if we came over here? And so sometimes it's a negative shape that's going to make this. So how are we going to show that there's something on top of this? Since I spent my time working this basic form here, do you guys see how now this actually lays on top of that? It doesn't read like it's just side by side, right? But it's on top of that. And now, that's the bottom of the ear, top of the ear. So it'll come in, we'll go over the ear. What am I doing? I'm following, and then we're going to go in, and then what am I doing? Now we're starting to fall over the hair. And this thing's on this. What's this going to do? Well, it's going to cast a shadow over this. the shoulders that the neck's sitting on, which is going to merge with the hair, which this is all going to be dark negative shape. But do we want to we've got to show this somehow. So how are we going to show, because all this is going to go dark. Well, the underplane, so there's shadow on the front side and there's shadow on the bottom side. What we can do is, as a counter force to the highlight, within the shadow, we can show some reflected light. Okay, so now when we black all this out or combine that all together, all of this will be spelled out with that little reflected light right there. Okay, so sometimes it's knowing what you need. And what I'm finding is when I let you guys just go and go and go, I have to tell you what you need like 30 billion times. But if I don't show you guys what I'm doing and make you doing along with me, I'm hoping that you'll catch on that there's no need to spend $1 million doing the hair. And no, this is all one thing. I don't know, well, yeah, I don't know why. So many of us are just afraid of big flat darks. I can't silhouette it. Why not? Well, because there's so many things I want to. Look, I'm showing you what's an effective visual for light dark marks. Right? But if you've got something else on your mind besides effective light dark marks, you're really not working in the language of the visual arts. All right, 28. 28. Look at that. Do you guys see a portrait happening? Can you see a portrait happening there? And there's no nose, there's no eyes, none of it. None of it, none of it. That stuff is minor. And so what I want to encourage you guys to do is to quit working on the minor stuff. Take a break and start working on the major stuff. All right, I wanted to keep going and show some other things, but it looks like we're about out of time here. So, but I hope in this short little 30-minute demo, all right, I haven't even got to highlight. I haven't cleaned that up. What do we got? We got half a minute. Half a minute. All right, let's see. So hard edge where it starts. We got our light. Through. And what do we need to finish it? Well, that highlight, right? The highlights on the corner of the top and the front and the side. Even the highlight can be done multiple times for a greater sense of history, of patina, of generations and generations of materials, making it on to your canvas or your paper or whatever it is. All right. Okay, guys. So again, this was a little bit abstract, but I wanted to really go into the materials and what you can do with them. And it's not about detail. Oil painting is not about detail, right? But it's about these beautiful edges and transitions, these nice soft hard edges, soft and open edges. Where can we open up at? Is there really hard lines all through here? Did that open straight through? Do you see as we open things up, it gets them a little bit more interesting rather than always closing things down? But it's a matter of knowing where and how to open things up. Okay, I didn't do anything tonight that every single one of you couldn't do. I don't have magic sensitive hands or anything, right? I'm just clawing charcoal, right? But I'm just considering what I'm doing, right? My consideration is what's different, not my skill or secret knowledge or anything like that. All right, everybody. I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Look, so there's so much to do. We gotta get. How are we gonna stop? We can't stop. We gotta keep going. I don't want to stop. But we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, as Cindy says, we've got the fundamentals forms, charcoal sketching on our online school. That was our first you go at your own pace course. It's all set up independent study. And then we have our monthly course, which will in August transform into a 3-month course. Next year I'll be teaching 2 courses in the year. It'll be somewhere between 3.5 and 4.5 months for each course, a spring and a fall. So keep your eyes open for that. And yeah. In the meantime, we'd love to see what you did. We will be back in the morning for, what are we doing today? We're mixing in the morning. We're color mixing in the morning. That's right. Our color runs in the morning, in particular for these forms, right? I want you guys to start studying your portraits and get me beautiful composition drawings with no features. No features. Right? What was going to be next for me? Well, I've got to come in here and make this background gray, and then I can leave lights and then when that's set, let me come in here and work on the face. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Claudia. Appreciate it. Appreciate all of you. Katie, thank you. Thank you for joining us. All right, everybody. Have a beautiful night, and we will see you in the morning.